Mic'd up.
Well, welcome everybody to the Angry Yankee Coast to Coast post-game show after the sweep in Toronto. I am here by myself today because Adam is at a wedding. No, he's not getting married. He said one wife is enough, and I would have to agree with him. However, we are here, and for those of you stuck in traffic over the course of this holiday weekend, do you have it worse than the Yankees do right now? Holy cow, that was a mess. You go into Toronto knowing that they're a bunch of soft-hitting guys, don't strike out, don't have a lot of power, but they're a pain in the ass to pitch to. And what happens? They are a pain in the ass to pitch to, they don't strike out, and they hit home runs against your pitching. Unbelievable that they got swept. As we've been saying, Adam and I, for more than a year, there are a lot of holes on this team. There are a lot of problems on this team. The question is, how are they going to address them? The other thing that's a problem, and I'll talk about this and then probably call it a day, and Adam and I, or I'll come back this weekend and we'll talk a little bit more about the pitching staff because it's now really in flux depending on what's going on with Schmidt. So I'm going to hold off on that. What can the Yankees do about the infield? It is a problem defensively. It is a problem offensively. Okay? Their defense, infield defense, aside from Goldschmidt, is basically average to below average. All right, let's start with Jazz at third base. Jazz at third base in 2024 was +8. Fantastic for a guy who never played there, but so far in 2025, he's actually a -4 outs above average. That's not good. And we've moved him away from his best position, which is second base. With the Marlins in 2021, he was at 6 outs above average. 22, he was 3 outs above average. 23, he was average. And then he came over to the Yankees. But 23, he spent most of the time in center field, so he didn't get much time. But his offense plays even further up as a second baseman. So he needs to be playing second base for the Yankees, not third base for the Yankees. And the reason for that is DJ LeMahieu is -1 outs above average. Peraza is an excellent plus defender, but I don't really think he's the answer because he's had a decent shot this year. DJ is a -1 outs above average defense, and he's getting significantly worse. In 2021, he was +2 when he came to the Yankees. 2022 and 2023 were basically messes of a season, as was 24. And 25, he's showing himself to be a negative defender, and he's not contributing anything offensively to this team. Sorry, you can't have a 560 OPS and be an everyday player, or even a 600 OPS and be an everyday player. I think it's time for the Yankees to really consider bringing up Lombard, sending Peraza back down, putting Lombard in the lineup every day until they make a trade, potentially for a third baseman, which I'll talk about. DJ can be cut loose if it works out with whoever comes in. He's only got one more year left at $15 million. The Yanks are going to have to release him and eat the contract. That's the bottom line there. Shortstop. I am a big defender of Volpe's defense in the sense that he makes the routine plays almost 100% of the time. Well, that's changed this year, as showed by the 80-mile-an-hour bloop liner that got past him yesterday. Volpe's defense is going backwards. His Gold Glove year, which is very funny, he was only +1 outs above average as a defender. 2024, last year, he was better. He was +14. This year, he's -1 outs above average. So he's backwards. He's not helping the team. The Yankees need to make a decision on him. At this point, there really is no replacement in the system for the Yankees until Lombard Jr. and potentially Arias are ready to come up and be on the team and play. So there's really nothing they can do except live with Volpe, and they pretty much have made their bed and they're going to lie in it. However, with a career on-base percentage of .292 and averaging a strikeout a game as a punch-and-Judy hitter, trying to have launch angle when he shouldn't be doing that, it's awful. 155 runners left on base. It's terrible. Right now, his splits are .224 average, .304 on base, and .403 slugging. .707 is major league average at best. He's not providing anything to this team. How can they not fix this guy? Swing. even if he can pick up his defense to back to be slightly above average, if they can fix his swing, get him to hit 260, don't worry about him hitting 25 home runs. And never mind the fact he can't steal bases anymore. He is stealing bases at barely a 60% rate, and he's had to stop running. I don't know what happened there. Can anybody explain what happened there? Oh, Michael K says, oh, they figured out his little jump lead thing. No, they didn't figure out his jump lead thing. Something's going on. He's turning and looking when he steals. He's looking at the catcher. Watch Dominguez. He stole a base today. He stole a base yesterday. He stole 13 bases, since the middle of May. You're stealing. Just go. If it's a hit and run, you can look. But the Yanks don't hit and run, which is another issue with Boone and the Yankees metrics, MIT engineered geniuses. But you stealing, you just run. You watch, and then you try and slide away from the tag. I don't want to see this jump lead garbage that Volpe's doing. It does not work. It does not work. So Volpe, you're stuck with him. We're stuck with him. He's going to be the shortstop, at least for this season, but the Yankees need to make a real decision on him because there are players that are out there, like a Bo Bichette, who, yes, is he the ideal shortstop? No. Lombard might be a shortstop, and Bichette could play third base, but Bichette is a 270 hitter. He's a 330, 340 on-base percentage guy. He's a 400, 450 slugging guy. He plays above average defense, not to mention his baseball IQ is through the roof. What have we seen this week, and what have we seen for several weeks with regard to Volpe, especially on the defensive side? His baseball IQ is way to go. I mean, he came up, he looked like a baseball player. He was ready to go. He knew what he wanted to do, and he did the right thing. Did that World Series play just totally screw him up when he threw the ball to third base? That he had to repeat it and then defend it this week? Come on, Volpe, give me a break. You're really starting to kill us here. So what's out there for the Yankees? And when or if are they going to pull the trigger on making a trade? Are there any third basemen out there for the Yankees to pick up, even a rental, so they can move Jazz to second and get DJ and Peraza out of the lineup? Well, there's one big man out there, and we don't know if the team is going to sell. They have a tendency not to deal at all. They don't buy and they don't sell. Excuse me. And that would be the Arizona Diamondbacks. Eugenio Suarez. He's 33 years old. He's in a contract year. He strikes out a ton. Streaky as hell. He's an above average, slightly a defender, although he's -1 right now in 2025. He's been a slightly above average defender throughout his career. Maybe at 33 he's not, but he's a rental. Great offensive year in 2025, even with his ridiculously high strikeout rate. I'm not a big guy that likes high strikeout rates. Hence why I said that that's not acceptable for Volpe, not really acceptable for Jazz either. And it's not going to be acceptable for Dominguez much longer as well. I would rather have guys like Bellinger who put the ball in play. And as we saw with the Blue Jays, guys who put the ball in play. But Suarez is a free agent after this season. His OPS plus every year, even in his off years in Cincinnati, where it was a bandbox and he wasn't a big home run hitter, if you could figure that out. Arizona is a big home run park because of the weather and the heat. But he's a guy that's available, and he's in his walk year. Arizona is not an easy team to deal with. They don't like to make trades to bring in guys, and they don't like to make trades and sell guys off. Perhaps this year is the year they do it. They're sort of teetering on the edge with a lot of teams to pass at a record that's below 500 right now. Right now, obviously, they got the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants ahead of them in their own division. You've got teams, even though they're in the tank as well, the Mets, the Braves are coming on, and you've got all those teams in the Central all above 500 again. Milwaukee and the Cubs, and St. Louis, another team that's on the border of the wild card race as well. So, and I'm not going to say anything about Pittsburgh and their 7-game winning streak because it's not really going to happen. The question is, has Arizona played a lot of games against Colorado compared to the rest of the division? And no, they have not actually. So maybe that's one of the things they have going in their favor. But Suarez is a guy the Yankees could look at. What is it going to take? Well, they're going to lose Zach Gallen at the end of this season. They're going to lose Josh Naylor at the end of this season. They're going to lose Suarez at the end of this season. They're never going to deal Ketel Marte, which would be the guy that would be perfect for the Yankees. Just plug him in at second base and leave Jazz at third base for that reason, because he's one of the best, if not the best, second baseman in baseball. But they signed him to a long-term contract, and all the things that went on this past week when the fan made some comments about his mother, which, it's one thing to say something about somebody's mother and make a mother joke, or, your mom is so fat type joke. But what they did with regard to talking about his dead mother was not appropriate. And the guy that did it should be kicked out of the stadiums for an extended period of time. Who else is out there? Well, Luis Renfino was a guy I tried to push for last year before he got hurt. Quite frankly, the Angels are usually in a seller's position, but they never do either. And with regard to Renifo, I can't even say his name, which hopefully if he did come to the Yankees, I'd learn how to pronounce it. He's been playing mostly second base this year, but he also offensively has taken a huge step backwards. It was a wrist injury that required surgery in August, and clearly it's impacted his hitting. He has not gone back to being the 300 hitter that he was before he got hurt. So I'm not a really big fan of trading for him, because I don't want to rent him and then put ourselves in the position of having a average to slightly below average fielder, even if it's at second base or third base, that also is not contributing offensively. That defeats the purpose of anything that they have. He's a similar fielder to DJ, and right now his offense is much too much DJ-like. And he's a rental, so why give up something for that? His year is being awful. He was batting 300 with a 347 on base and a 417 slugging with 24 stolen bases before he went on the IL and had the wrist injury. He got hurt in July and then tried to play through it, and then finally shut it down in August. And ended up having wrist surgery. He's not worth the risk. Bregman, Alex Bregman. I don't think he's a fit for the Yankees because he's a dead pull hitter, but I also don't think he's fit for the Yankees because, one, I don't think the Red Sox are going to sell. I also don't think that the Red Sox were going to sell him to the Yankees, and he could potentially be a rental. And at $40 million a year, I think it's an overpay for a team like the Yankees, and he's not worth that price. There's our old friend Miguel Andujar, but he's got an oblique injury, and he really hasn't played much third base. But quite frankly, he's been a 300 hitter with a pretty good on base and good slugging with the A's. But again, been there, done that. Don't really want to bring in a guy like Miguel Andujar, especially coming off an oblique injury and just starting his rehab. The other guy on the A's that's possible is Luis Urias. He has not really been the same player that he was with Milwaukee. He's more of a utility guy. He would be an outstanding backup infielder for the Yankees to have because he can put the bat on the ball. He could play all sorts of positions on the infield, second, short, and third, not embarrass himself, slightly above average defender. He's a slightly below average or average offensive player. So he would be an ideal utility guy, and he's not that expensive. What about Ryan McMahon? Ryan McMahon. Everybody's yelling about Ryan McMahon. Well, guess what? He makes $16 million next year and in 27, and he makes $12 million this year, and he is a below average third baseman. He's actually not a bad second baseman. However, his OPS has been below 100 every year when you adjust his OPS plus, has been below 100 for every year when you adjust it for the ballpark. What does that mean? He is a Colorado hitter. He will not hit outside of Colorado. So there's not much out there for the Yankees at third base unless they make a play for Suarez. Right now, I don't want to see DJ out there, and really Peraza's not showing himself to do it. Amazingly, the Yankees are missing Oswaldo Cabrera, who will be, hopefully, their utility guy next year, because he is the type of guy that Luis Renifo is. Renifo is. See, I still can't say it. He's the type of guy that Renifo is because he can play second, short, and third as well. So he's your utility guy next year, which means Peraza is going to be gone, and DJ should be cut. What are the other internal options? Vivas. Somebody can explain to me how he's a low strikeout rate, very low strikeout rate in the minors for a year and a half, comes up to the majors and looks like he's swinging at every pitch like he wants to hit a home run. Don't want him. Don't need him. I don't think he's a bad piece. If somebody wants to give him a chance, a team like a Miami or a Colorado or one of the low rent teams that don't want to spend the money and are going to sell their fans on the fact that this guy's a quadruple, a very good AAA player, which means quadruple A player, that would be fine. Saw enough of Luis Rojas, don't want him on the team. Andrew Velasquez was with the Yankees, left the Yankees. Great defender, can't hit an infant's weight, so we're not going to even look at him. There's a guy named Jake Goatwell that's in the minor leagues. He's older. He's 27, 28 years old. He's a quadruple A type player as well, which brings me back to Lombard Jr. I think the Yankees should just pull the cord, send Peraza down, put Lombard Jr. in the lineup at third base every day, move Jazz to second, put DJ on the bench. Tough left-handed pitcher comes in and you want to sit a Jazz against a tough lefty, that's where DJ goes into the game. DJ seems like the type of guy that might actually be good to have around, take Lombard under his wing. He is a very professional baseball player. He is a very high IQ baseball player. He just is at the end of his career. So I would think that that's the choice that the Yankees have to have. They don't usually push their minor leaguers. They pushed Dominguez, and he was really good when they pushed him up because he only had a few games at AAA. He had 109 games at AA and then 9 games at AAA, and the Yankees then brought him up the first time that they brought him up. Well, Lombard's had more games than that at AAA, less games than that at AA. No, he's not really hitting it at AAA right now. But even with his low batting average in the low twos, in the 220 range, his on-base percentage is 340 and he has 14 stolen bases. So he's still controlling the plate, and that's something that should translate to the major leagues. So Lombard's the choice. Then again, everybody's going to jump up and down. What about Arenado? What about Arenado? Well, he makes $16 million this year, 16 and 26, 16 and 27. He's a dead pull right-handed hitter, was a former gold and platinum glove third baseman, and right now, he's not. 23, he was a minus outs above average. 24, he was a 0, and this year he's a +1. And offensively, he's only been barely average, literally 100 OPS plus this season. In 2023, 101 and 24, and 95 and 25. He's a dead pull hitter. That does not work for righties in Yankee Stadium. And then, of course, people have been, IKF's name has come up, and quite frankly, I'd like to say about IKF, been there, done that. He's a utility guy on a winning team, on a bad team, Pittsburgh. He plays every day. So that's what I foresee for the Yankees as far as the options. I think the only thing they could do, and why not do it right now and see if Lombard can do it for the month of July before the trade deadline. July 31st is the trade deadline. You've got a hole to fill. You've got a guy in the minors that deserves a chance. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he won't. Tell him, listen, you're going to be in the lineup every day. Let's see what happens. We know you're going to be a long-term major leaguer. You're the number 20 prospect in all of baseball. You're our top prospect. Just go out there and play baseball the way we know you can. We're going to bat you ninth every game. You don't have to think about it and make those other lineup changes that I talked about with regard to Bellinger and Dominguez, and maybe they can get more consistency out of their offense. But right now, watching DJ get rolled out there is just boring and bad. Peraza is not as boring, but it's bad. Watching Grisham go out there is annoying. Stanton is not what you want him to be either. And, Jazz is still too up and down. Rice and Goldie should be platooning. Wells should be your catcher. If Wells is not going to be your catcher long term, he's got to be dealt. If Wells is your catcher, Rice is the guy you deal. When we talk next time, we're going to have to talk about the bullpen because it's all burnt out. We're going to have to talk about the starting rotation, especially when we finally learn what's going on with Clark Schmidt, assuming the Yankees will tell us anything or if the Yankees can even get it right. But with right forearm soreness and discomfort, that's not a good sign. So that's it for now. Hopefully, Adam and I will be able to get to a show this holiday weekend. Happy July 4th. As you can see, I'm wearing my Yankee July 4th hat. Until next time, this is Yankees Coast to Coast and Michael Miller signing off. And Adam sends his regards from the wedding. Hopefully, he's not fall down drunk.